Hello, my good people of Abuja, Nasarawa, Kogi, Niger, Benue, Kaduna, and all other states surrounding our federal capital territory, city of Abuja. You're always welcome to our every week elixir in preventive health education, Dish of Life Extra, coming to you from your number one community-friendly radio station, Vision 92.1 FM. I am your regular host, Dr. Semiyu Olagolden. My people, last week we discussed basically on career as a primary food and how it gets to relate to relationship and how they all have something to do with how our life is shaped. And I promise that today we're going to talk about another aspect of primary food, that is exercise. Yes, a lot of people always misunderstand what exercise is. Exercise is act of moving our movable parts. That is, moving the movable part of our body. When you observe the way God has created us, there are so many joints that we are created with. And all these joints are made to move for specific purpose or for several different purposes. Now, when they are not moved, there are always problems that is being created somehow. And that's the reason why it says the normal function of a human body is movement. In actual fact, no matter how you look at it, a normal function of a human body is movement, and that movement is enhanced by the way we move it. That is what people call exercise. But in actual fact, movement is what we should focus on, because exercise can be so many other things. Movement is what really gives the health that we need. Exercise is taking your body through the normal range and above. It is like if you really want to actually challenge your body against somebody else's body, then you can have what you call exercise that is going to challenge you to do more than what your normal or baser body system can accept. So, why is it necessary that exercise as a movement now is so important as a primary food? The first thing is that when we move our body, certain hormones get exchanged at those joints. And these hormones help every other part of our body to make use of what is created for. For instance, our muscles, our tendons, our different types of nerves that cross these, muscles, that cross the joints, that cross all of them. Without the movement, they don't work to the optimum. They work at their rest state. But then when they are moved, they work better and they make things better in our system. Everything that our system does is dependent on the movement of our nerves, is dependent on the movement of our muscles, of our tendons, of everything that we have in our system, including how our food is being taken in, digested, absorbed, and even distributed, up till even when it's going to eliminate those parts of the food that are not needed by our body. So movement is so necessary, and that is the reason why it is one of the primary foods that we must take very, very seriously. There are two extremes to movement or exercise, whichever you've understood as I have explained it. There is one side that is no movement, which is sedentariness. And there's another part, that is the extreme movement or extreme exercise which leads to exhaustion. Now, these two extremes are no-go areas. When you're the type of person who make yourself to be in the first extreme, that is the sedentariness, you find that there are so many things that go wrong. All our organs, they go into what you call lower activity. And this lower activity tends to bring about lots of stasis. Stasis means something that is not moving or something that is just in the same place. And just as I told you, our body is made to be moved. So when our body is not moving, there are stasis that happen, and that stasis brings about a lot of issues that are negative. So our body functions, as I've told you, will suffer. And when they are suffering, every other part, just like a moving, machine, will suffer. If you are in a production line and maybe the thing that is being produced by the first machine is moved to the next machine and the next machine is not doing what it's supposed to do, there's going to be stasis and there's going to be problems along the line. The production might still continue later, but then the product is going to be really, really bad. So when a man refuses to move or exercise, he's said to be sedentary. He is always on his butt, sitting down and not moving. Everything he or she does is always around a secluded place. And when that is happening, in a secluded place, there is always possibility of having less oxygen with passing time. Because each time we breathe out and we breathe in, our breathing in is to bring in more oxygen, while our breathing out is to take away more of the carbon dioxide that we don't need. So if you are in a secluded place for a long time, the time to exchange your oxygen with the carbon dioxide will continue to shorten as more and more carbon dioxide is going to be saturating that same space. So you have less oxygen in the next intake of air that you're going to take. And that is going to tell whenever it gets to the level where oxygen is needed inside your system. So it's not just about your food that is not going to get to where it's supposed to get to. In fact, so many things will get staged and will continue to remain in the same place where you won't be able to do much with it. So you find people who are sedentary getting fat very fast, because majority of what should have taken maybe the movement to take out of them will just keep on remaining in them, and there won't be enough space to put them. So what happened? These excess things that are not getting out will now be asking for more spaces from those areas where naturally there shouldn't be spaces. So if the person is unlucky, the deposit will continue to be around the organs that ordinarily should have enough space to expand and contract. So organs like our heart, organs like our liver, organs like our kidney and so on, all these organs need to, breathe and let things move inside them for them to perform their duties optimally. So if they could not perform their duty optimally, then there is problem in the system. And that problem will now lead to reduction in the systemic, activity. And then that can lead to different types of complaints. Suddenly you start saying, oh, you're feeling dizzy, or you're feeling pain, or you're not feeling normal. And all these are because the body, as at that time, is not acting normal. So, exercise as a primary food is very germane into giving us the type of health that we need and the type of health that we deserve. So if we don't take it seriously, so many things will be going wrong. I've just told you just one, and that is oxygen. And then when it goes for oxygen now, you find out that anything that concerns oxygen will concern every other digestive process that we have in our system. So the normal absorption from the body should actually give the body the things that it needs from whatever is the process of the digestion, absorption, and so on that we need in order to give nutrients to our body. But the moment exercise is away or movement is not done, those things don't get given. They will not get to the site where they are needed, and then those sites that need them won't get them, and there will be trouble. And that is the issue about some people having what you call constricted heart problem, constricted liver problem, constricted, kidney problem, etc. If these things keep going on, you find that those organs start reducing gradually their function. Before you know it, then the person starts getting ill, and from little illness, it gets worse, and the person might actually die. Yes, that will be the end of it, because once each of these organs keeps shutting down, probably because the toxins, that is the things that are not needed in the body, if they are not being removed when they should be removed, they will stay in there and be destroying the organs. And that is how they will keep shutting down one after the other. You have been hearing people saying they have kidney failure. You can understand what I'm saying now. You have people having heart failure. You can understand what I'm saying. Different types of organ failure, they are always as a result of inability of the system to remove things it's supposed to remove, or to give what it's supposed to give, or to not to take what it's not supposed to take. Because there are some times when dangerous chemicals are actually the reason why some organs fail. This goes to the type of food that we eat. Remember, we talked about that before. And we talk about certain type of nutrients that the body needs to be able to work optimally. So you can see how all of them work together and how they are being, categorized as primary food. So when you said movement is a primary food, then what you're actually saying is without movement, all other primary food won't even work, because a man who does not have good body that he exercises and he uses to make good nutrition for the body is not going to even have the brain to think. He's not going to have the body to move. He's not going to have even the energy to be able to do what he or she ought to do. So persistent lack of these things that the body needs leads to degeneration. And this degeneration will follow from one organ to the other. If you have ever known the reason why people go into different failures, you understand this aspect that I'm talking about. An organ does not just fail on its own. Another organ has already given the go-ahead for it to fail. If one organ is not doing what it should do, it's giving a backlog of problem to those ones that already done what they had to do. So that backlog now creates problem for this organ that is now failing. And just as I said, lack of movement, lack of adequate movement is one of the biggest problems the body can have. If you remember some time ago, we talked about our legs, that death starts from the legs. Yes, you better believe that. When I said that, I'm saying it with a little bit of caveat. The biggest muscles are in our legs. The biggest nerves are in our legs. The biggest tendons are in our legs. And if you don't move them, then how do you move the blood around the body? Yes, the heart will pump it, but where does it come back? How does it come back to the heart? This is the way it moves. It is the muscles of the legs that actually help to return the blood that has been used by various organs back into the area where it can get renewed. So you see the importance of movement. It is very, very important for us to understand, while exercise or movement is one of those things that makes our primary food very, very important. Now, most of the time when we talk about diseases don't just come. They don't just, happen. They are caused. And one of the things that cause their problem is this, what you call instrumental disobedience. Oh yes, instrumental disobedience to those little, signs that our bodies give us. Sometimes your body will tell you, rest. But that's the time you have a business to take care of. That's the time somebody has got something to show you. Oh, that's the time that, I can't miss this money. I can't miss this party. I can't miss this. I can't miss that. Some people have been used to watching late night movies that it has become an addicted situation for them. Meanwhile, if you sleep in the afternoon and you think that's going to replace your sleep in the night, you're joking, because they are never the same. They are never going to achieve the same. Your body will continually ask for every minute of the night that you refuse to give it the rest it deserves. So, my people, I've brought this particular exercise as a primary food to you so as to know that, look, believe me, exercise or body movement is one of the things that can help every part of your body to develop normally, or to even get out of any issue that concerns illness. Some people think that brain has nothing to do with movement, right? Maybe that is the biggest fallacy anybody will ever tell you. Do you know that exercise makes your brain works better? And the whole thing just happened to be that during your exercise, there are more blood flow that gets to your brain. There are more nutrients that get to your brain. There are more oxygen that get to your brain. So it gives it more than enough of what it needs to be able to do what it should do. So you find some people say, when I was exercising this morning, an idea came to me. Yes, that is the truth. Because you cannot be sedentary and have new ideas. It's not true. Even if you're a programmer who are ready to learn everything about programming, and you decide you sit down for hours on end to be able to do your program, at a time you become shut off if you do not exercise, if you do not move your body, because that is the essence of every part of your body doing what they ought to do, when they should do it, how they should do it, and how it will become the things that give your body the good health that you are in love with. So, my people, this is about what we have talked about, exercise. And when you look at exercise as a primary food, it also has something to do with our last part of the primary food called lifestyle. We're not going to discuss lifestyle today because there are so many things to discuss about exercise that you would think that then all the ones we have discussed is what? Well, I've just told you about the importance of exercise. Now, I've not told you what type of exercise you should do, what type of movement that are good for you. Whatever work you do, in whatever place you walk, whether you walk on water, on the air, or in whatever, every space that you're walking, there is a particular type of exercise or body movement that suits that your career or that your work. And it will continue to feed your system. It will continue to make your system to be better if you just learn what to do with it. So we're going to discuss about that. But let me tell you reasons for movement. There are reasons for movement. I've told you the basis of everything that makes movement important. But then, these are the reasons for movement. Already we talk about oxygen circulation. Fine, that is very essential. What about the fact that all the nutrients that you think you have eaten out of your very good food will not get to that site where you want the body to use them if you don't move? What about the fact that if you don't do those exercise, your brain is not going to jostle to give you more of what you need? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you don't use your body, your brain won't work. So, my people, this is what I'm going to talk to you today about exercise. And I hope that as you are listening to me today, you should start thinking about it. Don't go into extreme of exercise, and don't be sedentary. The type of exercise that you can do that can be of benefit for you, that is just wanting to be healthy, not a situation whereby you want to compete with other people. Please, most of the exercises that you do in the gym are not for your normal health. They are for you to compete with somebody or to take your body to the extreme. The exercise you need to be healthy, they are very simple. Walking is the best exercise for you. Walking outdoors is the best exercise for you. And that is going to affect every part of your body. So don't say because I paid millions in order to be in a gym, that makes me, somebody who will have to, get healthy. No, my friend. Gym is about wanting to compete in excess of yourself in order to beat somebody else.